Hey there, fellow readers, Deviant.fun here with a small lift through, just taking a look at some of the newest books arriving at the shop. Not all of them are new, but yeah, we can start with restocks because this should be in every shop, the complete collection of Gotham Central. It should be everywhere, at every comics reader home too. So this is a series that we've already presented in other videos, but just that you have an idea, this assembles Ed Brubaker, Greg Rucka, and Michael Lark. Yeah, that's it. What a trio, right? It's almost, you almost don't need to look at the books to understand that these are something special. Well, I've talked about them enough, but I'll just say it once again. So, this series of 4 books, 4 trades, decently thick. There's a lot to read here, as you can see. Well, they focus more on the Gotham Gotham police forces, the GCPD, and what happens when the superheroes aren't there and there's always crime to fight, right? So the superheroes aren't everywhere. So yeah, they have to have their own means of action also. They have to deal with the same problems that the superheroes do. They face the same menaces. They just have different tactics. Not a lot of powers, at least superpowers, but still they have their deduction, their intelligence. They have guns. That's true. And of course, they have means of communication with the superpowered beings. So they sometimes in the books you'll see them talking with Batman, for example, and etc. So the book focus on them working alone and trying to solve their issues. But of course, the bad guys that you're used to will show up, and the good ones too. And it's Brubaker and Greg Rucka telling the stories. So, you know, it's really good narrative. And Michael Lark on the drawings is a very consistent guy. Is the right choice for this kind of noir crime style. He and Sean Phillips could be doing these books too. They would turn out great also. But this is a great series that I haven't still been able to read completely. Only read the first book 1 in the Line of Duty, and I really loved it. So that's something I want to put on my shelves and not only have them on the store. This is a must-have, really, especially if you like murder, crime, police noirish books. Yeah, you really need to take a look at this. As you can see in some books 3 and 4, Stefano Gaudiano and Kano appear here on the artwork. Michael Lark wasn't available for some reason, but you get consistent artwork. You don't notice that much. And like I said, this is not that I'm trying to say that the artwork doesn't count in these books. Of course it does. It's a really important part, but the juice really is in the storytelling. That's what you should be aiming when buying these books. Highly recommended. Then we got Devil's Highway back in town because, well, we just ordered one just to get a feel for it, but we didn't even have the time to get a feel. We didn't even leaf through it, if I'm not mistaken, because it was right out of the door. This is a very recent publication from Image, right? No, it's not Image. It's Upshot. Yeah, it's not even Image. It looks like an Image Comics, but it's an Upshot, our Upshot. So it dates from February this year. It's very recent, and it has a very beautiful artwork by Brent Schoonover. Nick Filardi must be doing the colors, and Benjamin Percy is doing the story. So look at this first page with the snow, the colors, everything looks really cool. So it should be in the lines of Gotham Central in terms of genre. You got a story of revenge, mostly it, with some paranormal things to it, cults and things like that. Tough girls. And yeah, I'm very curious on reading this. Here's the cover. Okay, they opted by having the covers in the middle of the issues. That's okay. Jonathan Hickman doesn't like doing that, but other people like to. I tend to agree with Hickman though. If you're reading a volume, keep the distractions to the end and let the story just be uninterrupted. That's the way I like it too. But it doesn't bother me that a cover shows up in the middle, but yeah, I prefer it not to be honest. So let's see what it says here in the little printing. So Benjamin Percy, known mostly from Wolverine of course, and Brent Schoonover, Batman 66, present a nerve-wracking thriller examining murder in the underbelly of America's heartland. A young woman with a dark family secret embarks on a quest to hunt down the serial killer that brutally murdered her father, only to discover is just one piece of a national network of evil that snakes across the country and hides in plain sight. To catch the devil, she must first embrace the darkness within. So, like I said, crime, thriller, revenge story. Then new stuff in the store. So we've talked about Philadelphia Volume 1 and how much we enjoyed it. So here it is, Philadelphia Volume 2 by Barnes, Alexander, and CT, which I don't know what it stands for, and Sienkiewicz. Yeah, that's a nice picture here. So let's see this volume 2. So we've got story by Rodney Barnes. The art is by Jason Sean Alexander. The color is by Louise NCT. Okay. And lettering by Marshall Dillon. Burn Baby Burn. That's the name of this comic by Image. And it dates from March 2021, so very recent too, the first printing at least. So let me just say what it says here. So Philadelphia has been decimated by one of the most brutal bloodbaths in history at the hands of John Adams and his legion of vampires. So Jimmy Sangster Jr. was able to save it with the help of his father, revered detective and newborn vampire James Sangster Sr., but the war for New America rages on. Now, though his father has finally been laid to rest, Jimmy's worst nightmare is far from over. Abigail Adams is hell-bent on reigniting her husband's reign of terror with even bolder and more ruthless acts against the city some have come to call Philadelphia. If the city of brotherly love is to stand any chance of survival against this new enemy, Jimmy and Company will have to do the unthinkable. But will it be enough to save them, or will they burn with the rest of the city? So this collects issues 7 to 12 and continues with the story. You can watch our video about around Philadelphia Volume 1, where you follow this black detective against the horde of vampires. As you can see, the artwork is very peculiar. It reminds me of Steve Niles' 30 Days of Night, also a very good vampire story. We've got Omnibus 1 and 2, and we highly recommend it. Well, we don't highly recommend Omnibus Volume 2 because we haven't read it, but I'm sure it will be as good as the first one. And this really has some similarities in terms of artwork, though 30 Days of Night is much more stylized than this, but still this one has a very unique artwork and art style. So it's a promising story. It ended up well with Volume 1. It started well with Volume 1. Let's see if it holds up in Volume 2. We'll read it and then tell you about it, what we think. And if you have comments, please leave them in the comments section. We would like very much to know if you think the series went downhill or maintained its quality, or if it got even better. It might happen. We've got some covers here. Yeah, this could really be from 30 Days of Night. And it was drawn by Todd McFarlane. I wouldn't recognize his art here, to be honest. It's a little bit different from what he uses to do. So that's Philadelphia Volume 2, Burn, Baby, Burn. Then, two guys that we've talked about, Ed Brubaker and Michael Lark. Of course, that wasn't the only time they worked together. So they did join and pair up in Scene of the Crime, together with another great artist, Sean Phillips, that I think only does the colors here. That's how we started. Yeah, is the inker together with Michael Lark, is not the penciler. We've got an introduction by Brian Michael Bendis. Okay, so let's see what it says in the back. It's just praise. So finally back in print after more than a decade. Yeah, this isn't a recent work from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This perhaps was maybe one of the first times that Brubaker and Sean Phillips worked together. I can only imagine that. So PI, private investigator, Jack Harriman has seen too many dead bodies, but that's the family curse. Because his uncle is the most famous crime scene photographer since Ouija. Reeling from a case gone wrong, Jack tackles a missing person's job that should be easy, but instead leads straight into the secrets and lies of a bizarre sex cult. Okay, so curiously, here it says that Ed Brubaker and Michael Lark's Scene of the Crime was released years before their acclaimed runs on Gotham Central that we just saw, and Daredevil. By the way, if you're looking for Daredevil Omnibus by Ed Brubaker, Volume 1, at least the Volume 1 we can get you. It's out of print, but we can get you. and garnered several Eisner Award nominations. Yeah, it's back, presented in a new edition with never-before-seen extras, behind-the-scenes artwork, and the story behind the story. So you know what to expect from Ed Brubaker. Is probably the best, at least for me, the best crime genre writer at the moment, active. And Michael Lark is one of the best guys to go along with Ed Brubaker's. Of course, now Sean Phillips has taken his place. You almost can't see their names separate. It's always Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. They are like toe to nail. Yeah, and they're one hell of a pair. They consistently put out great books with great stories, great dialogues, excellent illustrations. So they're those guys that if they were in the stock market, I would have stocks. I would buy stocks. They're a sure bet, anytime, every time. They don't go below very good. It's either that or excellent. So this is especially appetizing for me because it's Ed Brubaker, it's got Michael Lark, it's got Sean Phillips, and it's got the word crime. So I'm in. Count me in. You don't need to show me anything else. Then a total how do you say it? A total debut. The Collected Topi, starting with volume 4. Well, that's mostly because of the availability of the other volumes. This one is the easier one to find. So Sergio Topi, like it says here, is widely considered a master of graphic storytelling. He's an Italian illustrator and author, and he's got this series, a thematic series, where in this one you've got 5 tales, one of them in Africa, another in India, Australia, and there should be, okay, there's 2 stories in the same place, because there's only 3 locations and 5 tales. This was originally published as the Kakombo Dossier, Warramunga, and Pacific Isle, and this is presented in this edition for the first time in English because, like we said, he's Italian. And this is a very beautiful book with a very nice touch to it. Indeed, a very, very nice touch, and it's got rounded corners and such. It's very, very elegant. And let's take a look at the art, because the artwork is really unique. Sergio Topi has a very, very distinctive line. So there's some foreword by John Jennings. And here is the first story, the Kakombo Dossier, and look at this. It looks like a composition made. Well, it is a composition. Drawings and textures and geometrical figures, but it all ends up with such a balance, an incredible balance. Look at this buffalo, so well depicted. It's incredible artwork. Even if it's black and white, you can see all the detail in the costume here. Look at this. So I have a feeling that these books are more worth for the illustrations than the actual stories. That's just a feeling, because I haven't read it yet, but that's the sense I get, that Topi is more a great illustrator than a great storyteller, but I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think his narrative will beat his illustration techniques. This looks like a Klimt painting. This is really something unique. You don't see this kind of artwork in Marvel or DC or whatever. This is for someone looking for a very different thing to read. The fauna is incredibly depicted. The savages, I've recognized some of them. They really exist. There was one with a prosthesis in his penis that points upwards and is curly. I've seen a documentary about that tribe, so this is not fiction. Warramunga, here is another tale. This seems like an Australian Aborigine, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but this is just a feast for the eyes. Look at this. The black and white, the small patchwork with straight lines and little geometrical things giving texture. He is really a great illustrator, a master illustrator, as it was said there. Yeah, I could keep looking at this. Look at this rhino charging. Beautiful. So you get the idea. Pacific Island. You get the idea. He's just a great artist. Yeah, so the bad news is that not all of the books are easy to find. Some of them are out of print, and even with our resources we can't get all of them. So yeah, starting with the basics, and we'll climb up to the ones harder to find. But we'd really like to have all of them in the shop. It would give us great pleasure to pay that homage to Sergio Topi. He deserves it. Okay, so that's it. That's all I had to show. It's not many books, just a few of them, but yeah, good ones, I think. So if you're interested in any one of them, you know where to go, Deviant.fun.biz. Otherwise, if you like the videos, but you don't want to spend money, then please just like the videos and even consider subscribing to the channel. It will help us grow. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we post news about the shop, news about the comics world in general. So it's a good way to stay relevant, to stay up to date with relevant information, I meant. And yeah, share things with us, comment, whatever, messages. If you're looking for something and you can't find it, maybe you can help. Talk with us. It will be a pleasure to help you find that elusive book that has been missing in your collection. So, with no further ado, you please stay very safe, please stay well, have excellent reads, and we'll see you soon in the next video, which won't take long. I'm pretty sure about that. We've proven that that's the truth. We constantly put out new content. So bye in 3, 2, 1, Deviant Fun out. See you.